Good evening, thank you for joining me. Since 2019 and this year, I've written hundreds of poems. Only 14 have been directly about Boris Johnson. I'm not going to go through all 14, but I'm going to pick one for each year, all the way back to 2019. Come with me for this one. This is based on an interview Boris Johnson gave, or a fact that came out about him, and all the words are mine, I assure you. From a council to a cult. The cult disintegration shrank to be fronted by a child, however choreographed, not exact stamp, a child reasoned with into accordance. That child now the man on his shoulders crashing down, spotlight always putting off, but then known child is laughing. The cheated, distracted, thanked to be vindicated, right to suspect, and kept child's ruse in their web because everyone just saw in a suit a man grown, spotlight closed blinds on the cult. A man stares at charts, ruthless calculate, claims humanity by remembering the smell and colour of red paint, and when stained across metal, and to child every saying no, as man takes on full, after cult harness aghast skills, any sympathy conditioned to ignore, ask for help in cash for balance, taking from our mouths as done. The cult direction shrank, but with each reach, never knowing how fell, because always told of dream. Grown man of the psychopath being, painting blood on toy carriage, and being reason to sign agreements. Where are children? Accuse the cult. From a cult to a council, installed trick mirrors, and still came the despot. And for 2020, I wrote a big long 3-page piece called Politicals Obeying in Existence. It's about sort of like the romance and glamour and sort of importance of politics, and then the COVID stuff came, so there's 0.00% chance I'll ever write anything like that on that particular subject with that sentiment. But I'll tell you, let's just say 2020 didn't leave us empty-handed. I wrote anything but, and I wrote many beautiful things, but I wrote anything but the government, but eventually it catches up with you. 4 voices, 1 question. So just abandon to grieve, was screamed the back of a head. At the first sign, recognised trick, cut off and forced, invisible twist. The back of the head, distance until it seems listening was an invention of a joke folklore. To watch your position on screens, caught up with the insect before flame, excuse of a faith in some higher being, until noticing a dividing line, followed with eyesight and worked out a cage, a mirror observing closer has warped into lies. Been this way before, seen the marks left by the war. A company imagined their festive silence, fears emanating on the floors and insane screams that cannot injure behind corridor exists. A useful eat with labour to extract, direct without mercenary imposed and replaced. The bad news is the left outgrew priority contacts that deep soulful need until greater attention in own world, alongside faster as essentials, trusted, concluded, no predatory blueprints, walked upright as usual, but continue seeing happen, things done, movements possible, current intention. Look back on completion of whatever target, abandon to grieve, then get the world seeing. All things electric come hard with cruel trick, direction going to judge leadership, and scattered forever if hearing their answers to, do you think plan it better if given dimensional enhancements. Line of questioning. Like, look at it, 2021, things changed. I got involved in writing on the wall, and but there were many beautiful things. There were anything about the government of Boris Johnson, but as I said before, it just catches up with you. It really does. It sometimes, and it's the same message as well. That's the really funny bit. From 2021, the contestant is unwell, and it's game over. The game no longer works once able to notice the strings with that secret weapon, a mirror distracting lies, to be wiped clean with a sheet or cloth once breath hot, but that's new managed regulations. Half a quartered sleep injects the past vitamins, and such pressure their carnival entertainment just seems background, not even process of figuring out, just adding to weight, hoping break. Not poison chalice, just drunk on purpose, the power kept on pressing fingers. The only way the game could play is putting atop a madman. Its secret keepers maintain structure, attempt to justify pyramid in a world of tiny atomic. Kept until charge were ever shared. Enough screaming insists could be answered. The game no longer works because it's stripped of all clothes, helpers and managed excuses, not touching in horror of woes, reported circling but not telling. It operates with many shapes, turning in opposite directions, some off another circle. A line goes cold investigating. With nothing to remove the competition, the contest now rests in the hands of the evidence privileged are liars. Got enough money to place on table, litigation burns it up for suggesting we stand knocked tables and contents with distraction. Outrage at who the seating depicted, the biggest losing those questions. What does power, having ruled, disguises just a game? The contestant is unwell and it's game over, without the nerve to explain it to audience. 1 second, please. I just need to. The next one, 2022. It was written about probably a month before Boris said he's going to resign and all these other sort of things that got kicked out. Fantastic. It does take a lot of really psychic energy for it, so whatever your laughter for it, your horror over him leaving, whatever it is, just channel it. I'll get us back up now. We can do this. This is brought to you by the letter A, by the way, so you'll notice. Come on in, Jimmy and John. Right, we got again. Authentic evidence for government being replaced. There are no moves to go, exposed and proved that you're false, and every blueprint proved wrong, but too stubborn to dissolve. Another task deserves proved, direction by taking hold of nose, with no question every pledge broken to, or worse, only answers to carry on with this failure. Doing nothing yet not depressed, overlit the fuse last week. Anger towards false and slightly towards selves, action over wanting them killed, attributed to not seeking work, atrocity feared, ramping up bills, attached to bottom of the envelope, attack but with own hands, assault, that's sitting, blockage, agreement, strike action, right pressed, hostage, antagonise, to inescapable logic they must be removed, afterwards, plan to inform land, actually in the safest hands, autopsy, held off enough for a cycle, authority, finally on level playing field, anyway, exact dates, the in control stagnate, awful, The years chucking evilly, advance towards million voices locked, analysed if dangerous to public stock, advertised blameless, encourage more dyslexia, argument boils down to spent power, affected by a world previous owner, accidents but mostly openly murdered, ascension chart on tapestry arts preserved, and 5 minutes later in time, according to evidence written down, across divide there was a gulf bridged, amiable to every tribe and loved it. A cert came later and stabbed them backs, audience still insisting they still trust. Address will slip to winds, adhering to a plan. Advocacy reluctant but still wrong hand. Alienate to make you do nothing bad. Allege that is yourself doing the crime. Allegiance insist or traitorous condemned. Allude to more than blood on hands. Ambiguous where this started. Amnesty for those who caused. Anachronism of water under bridge. Animosity should never be taken off cards, apart from exceptional circumstances which they caused. Annihilate may be inhumane, but left with no other choice. Anonymous inspires to do it just once. Anticipate, seeing moonlight overviewed by history. Apathy left to rot useless fields. Arcane is just sponge crumbling in hand. Aristocratic finally gives up its plans. Aspire now has the power to put back on tracks. Assimilation threatened when process restarts. Atonement but testing until report back. Authentic evidence for government being replaced now. Thank you very much. That was 4 years of Anti-Boris Johnson poems. I don't know when my next video will be. I'm trying to get my hearing sorted out. I'm not wearing them today, but it's never over though, is it? That's the thing, it's never over. But thank you all for coming along with us. I'm sorry if you can't hear this bit clearly, but thank you for coming along with us on those past 4 years, and see you around again. Thanks. Bye.